I'm just going to go ahead and get into it. I'm here with Coach Sip Montez and Kiana Montez. They are the owners of TNT facility out in San Dimas, and I just wanted to get an expert opinion on this whole topic with Chris Flores, and they're going to be doing their own piece as well. But Sip, thanks for being here with us. Kiana, thanks for being here with us. So I'm going to start with Sip. Sip, you know, this whole thing is kind of unraveled in the last 24 hours. What are your thoughts on this Chris Flores situation? I'm sure it hits home.
And it's just one of those things, man, as a business owner, as a gym owner, and especially specializing in youth sports, the whole reason why we opened this up, and I said we, my wife and I, is because we wanted to have a place where kids can be safe, a place where we can build great young men and women, you know, not just for sports, but life. And to hear something like this, man, taking these is, like I said, it's disgusting. I said it. I just can't believe it.
How did you hear about it?
One of my boys called me up, you know, told me about this whole situation. You know, this was a while back, but it finally came to light. He said, you know, what you do in the dark will come to light, and here it is. It's at the light.
Well, did you know anything about Chris or the STARS program? What was your understanding of this program?
Well, I knew they had that training facility. I know, like I said, that they had a lot of NFL guys. But, you know, even way back when, you know, I knew a couple coaches from Long Beach Poly, and they would say, what kind of man or men reach out to high school kids and try to get them to train at their facility? You know, it's one of those things where, you know, we never reach out to no kids. You know, I remember when STARS reached out to our son, CJ, when he was 13, playing with Snoop, saying, hey, man, come train at our facility. And I was like, you know what? Tell them contact your dad. You're only 13 years old. You know, why these kids, and why does social media even allow this? Allow grown men and women to contact kids. It needs to be something, you know, what we talked about, you know, cybersecurity going on. But it's just one of those things, man, where it's just, like I say, unacceptable.
And Kiana, as a mom, how do you feel about this situation, being that these were young girls, and I'm sure you talked to a lot of other mothers that are concerned about this? What's your take on it?
I just feel that it's just a sad situation, because anytime that you have, or you drop your child off, or you're there with your child, whatever the case may be, for training to get them better prepared for that next level, there should never be, you know, that sense of, is my child going to be okay? Like, you know, you should be able to trust that facility wherever you take your child. So it's just really sad. And I think, you know, speaking from a mom's perspective, I don't even understand how they allowed this. Like, I don't even understand how it came about, because there should be certain levels. You know, Sib's talking about cybersecurity, but there should be something at that business level, you know, to stop these coaches from reaching out to these kids. Like, this is what we don't do. This is, you know, they should have some type of rules that obviously they're not being followed. And
I mean, that's a really good point in terms of how you connect and you communicate. What do you guys do that you wouldn't absolutely do that STARS was doing?
We don't reach out to kids directly. We don't reach out to kids and say, hey, you should train with us. Our communication is always with the parent. Always with the parent, because at the end of the day, the parent is the one who makes the final decision, and that's how it should be. And I think that, you know, there's just a fine line between, you know, an adult talking to a child. So we always have that level of respect. And, you know, sometimes there is a child who will DM TNT, who will call TNT. And, you know, the first thing is like, you know what, this is great. The number one thing is this child wants to get better. You know, so like we always talk to the kid in that aspect, always on a professional level. However, always direct ourselves to the parent. Always.
So, I mean, at some point, Sip, do you feel, just like Kiana, you guys have a certain protocol here that you're not going to be taking kids out, you're not going to be having dinner with them, you're not going to be doing all of these things that this organization potentially was doing? Is this something that you guys have always done? Why? And if so, why?
Man, once again, we take this whole thing back to a family business, right? So we always say, your baby is like our baby. I would never let my baby go out with no fucking. I would never let my baby go out with no man, no woman, any time of day, any hours. So to me, man, and it comes back to this whole thing where they're not even good trainers, but they have a plug, right? So if they have a plug, instead of getting my baby the best training, which we provide, we're going to go over here to this other place because they're going to get my baby exposed. You know, we're going to go over here. There's a quarterback coach out here who can't coach a quarterback at all, never played quarterback, right? But yet he has the plug. So we tell people, hey, this is who our son trained with. This guy played in the NFL. This guy is the best quarterback coach out here. He's like us, biomechanical, doing everything like he's supposed to do. But you know what? People don't want to go there. They want to go over here because this guy has the plug. He has the connections with all the colleges. So once again, it comes back to these parents. This has been out for a while how this guy is, right? But instead of saying, hey, I'm going to take my kid to TJ Huzmajada because he's the best receiver coach, I'm going to take my kid right here because he's going to get my kid at college. He's going to get my kid over here. He's going to have my son exposed. And they don't care about what's happening. You know, it kind of goes back to the Michael Jackson thing. Parents knew something was going on with Michael Jackson, but what happened?
They still let him spend the night.
They still let him spend the night. How? We kept a tight leash on our baby growing up. Man, I told her when I was a police officer, I said, listen, your job, you don't have to go to work. Your job is to take care of our baby. If he needs to go to practice, you take him. He needs to go here, you take him. You're not going to go to work. I worked as a police officer. Before that, I worked in juvenile halls. Before that, I worked in group homes. And when I read these files, these kids' files, man, I wouldn't even trust my own parents with my kid after reading these files.
It's sad. It's because then their innocence is taken, and that's something you can never replace.
Right.
And this little girl here, innocence has been taken.
12 years old.
12 years old. What kind of person would say, we'll go to the movies after? What are they going to watch?
Did you delete the videos?
The Minions? You guys going to watch the Minions? Nothing else out right now.
You can't have anything in common with the 12-year-old as a grown man.
What? But that leads to another point. So it's kind of broken the system when you're talking about grooming these kids and these marketing guys that have that relationship with the colleges. So the colleges are kind of empowering these middlemen, if you will, to negotiate on their behalf. Is that what you're saying?
It's handlers.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It's a handler. You know, hey, I got this person, I got this person. You know, whether you give me some money, whether you give me some love, or you give me some more plugs, whatever it is.
Kiana, what do you think, what can parents do to better protect their kids?
I'll tell you why I don't blame the parents. I think because there's so much social media and DMs and things like that to where even if you don't have that child's direct number, there's still a direct line of contact with the child via Instagram, Snapchat, you know, whatever it is. So, you know, I just believe that parents have to keep a better, I guess, communication with their kid. You know, so then that way it's like, Mom, this happened to me today. I didn't feel good about it. You know, so if they have that open line of communication, I think that the child is more open to tell them what's going on.
Right.
And I think that they should do a lot of research when they're choosing these facilities. You know, like you say, you have Coach Sib, he was a police officer, and you know, we are a family-owned business. So we're not here to get, you know, this 5-star athlete, you know, from here so that we could say, oh, we train him. I don't care if the kid was a no-star athlete. You want to get better, we're the place for you. So I think that parents need to do a better job of that.
And I think that's amazing that your mindset, obviously, of this facility is completely different than what Stars was trying to do. Your interest was in the kid. Theirs was, like you said, in building that brand of being a handler for these amazing athletes. And that's kind of what they did, it looked like. And so, Sip, you talked about some security measures, and I think family and parents should know this. What can parents do, fathers, mothers, when their kids are talking to coaches? What's the best advice for them?
Man, our son, as soon as he would get a DM from somebody, a coach, he come right to us. Look, this person just DM'd us. This person just DM'd me.
Right, and that comes with the open line of communication because we've already talked to him about things like that. So that's what I mean. Like it comes down to you talking to your child and letting them know, if this happens, tell me. If this happens, rather than just, it's so common nowadays, you have to talk to your kids about everything.
Right.
So he knew better.
Right.
And he would forward the DM, or he would tell them, here's my dad's number, because his father's the one who always dealt with that. Mm-hmm. So here's my dad's number, and then he would come and he would tell us, and then they would take it from there. But there was no way that we would allow him to,
Right, 13.
No.
Makes no sense.
Absolutely not.
It puts the kid in an uncomfortable situation because they don't have that experience either. And to Sip's point, it's like that Michael Jackson feeling where these men have so much power that you do feel vulnerable to them. And I mean, I'm sure we've all been in situations where you're kind of flabbergasted by a celebrity or someone really big, and things can get weird and awkward.
And like she said, it all comes to social media. When you look at the big picture, man, everything comes to social media. Because back in the day, it wasn't like this. You know what I'm saying? You had college coaches that would come down, watch your film, and base their scholarships off of Friday nights. Where nowadays, they're not doing that. It's based off who has the stars.
Well, can you elaborate on that? I think that's important. Do you feel that there's something broken when you say that?
Absolutely.
Well, tell us more, because we've had this conversation, and I think parents need to know what's currently happening in the sports world, right? Like you and I both played, and we have seen it completely transformed to a money type of grab. What do parents need to know about that issue in particular that we're saying?
What parents need to know that they need to do their research. That's the biggest thing.
Bottom line.
That's it, man. Do your research. Because even out here, there's a trainer out here who got fired from a school for inappropriate actions with a girl. And guess what? Nothing happened.
At
the high school level. But it's sad because the coach rather protect his school than protect more females that we've been going through this issue. Because if it's happened one time, it's going to happen again. There was a saying when we was a police officer, where there's one suspect, there's 2, 3. Where there's one gun, there's 2, 3. So if this guy's done this one time, guess what? 2, 3. And now, like this whole thing with this whole situation, it said that this girl back in 2009 had a rape charge on him. And what happened? They made her look like a liar. Coaches made her look like a liar. Why? To protect their freaking school. Fuck the school. It's about these kids.
They're innocent.
They're innocent. And that's why with our gym here, man, we put our heart and soul into this thing. The one thing that, like I said, like we said before in the other podcast, your baby is our baby. And that was her whole motto. That's how we had it. That's how we think. And that's why I said this stuff here is disgusting once again to me.
Yeah.
Because I can't believe that a grown man would sit there and talk to this girl the way he did. Calling her a dummy. Go to the movies. I'll see you tonight. 10:30. How's this little kid going to get out that late?
So for those kids that are affected by this at Stars, there's probably hundreds of kids that are going to be affected by this in one way or another. I'm not sure why a parent would still want to take their kid there. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Kiana?
It's just unfortunate what happened. And I'm not here to badmouth any facility, any coach, anything, that's never been my way of doing things. However, our doors are always open. We always provide a safe environment for the kids along with quality training. So to me, TNT has always been a no-brainer, whether you choose us or not, but they're always welcome here. We're a family-owned business. We've watched plenty of kids come here, junior high school, off to college, come back from college and still train here because they feel safe here. That's what's different about us, I believe. We had kids, like I said, junior high, all the way through college, come back from college for the summer program. And that says something because it's not just about retention or, the money, but it says that they feel safe here. It says that they know that they're getting quality work here. So, everybody is your kids are our kids. And it's just, like I said, very unfortunate that situation happened. And, God forbid that there'll be more kids that come out, and I just hope that if that is the case, that they feel like confident enough to come out, because they should not have to suffer in silence or be embarrassed or, whatever the case is. It's just really sad.
And that's another thing. I mean, people come in, they see cameras all in here.
Everywhere.
We got cameras everywhere. And I tell everybody, it's not for me. It's not for my wife. There's cameras in here for you as a parent. Because at any time you say, you know what, this happened, or, can we see this? Man, I'll pull the cameras right up. This is what happened at this time. This happened at this date. Anything. That's never happened. But I think ahead, right? And I let every parent know, look, I got cameras in here. Your baby will always be safe when they're in these four walls. Every time, your baby will be safe with us. And like she said, there's never a time where we just say, okay, hey, see you guys later. If it's a private session, we'll allow that. I'll tell my wife, hey, make sure you stay around here. We got this. But for the most time, we encourage parents to stay and watch our training because it's the best. You ain't ever seen no training like this. We encourage parents for the first time, oh, no, stay. I want you to watch. Because after you go to all these sorry-ass places, you're going to see why it's named Top Notch. It's one of those things where our son played for Snoop Dogg, right? And even with a kid like himself that was famous, whatever they wanted, people would call him our son, right? At the end of the day, he never did anything because we were on it. So parents, who cares about any kind of offers? Who cares about what the next person is going to do or what the next person is going to do for you? Watch your babies. Because at the end of the day, like I tell these kids, no one's going to take care of yourself like you. No one's going to care about you more than you. It has to be done. And I'm telling you right now, if parents don't wake up, this stuff's going to continue to happen. It will continue to happen.
No, absolutely. Just any type of last closing remarks that you want to leave with the parents, Kiana?
Honestly, I would say parents have to open their eyes. There's so many cases coming up with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, there's just so many. I mean, that's at a high level. So it's just trickling down and everything's starting to, come to light. And I just think that parents just need to open their eyes and put their child first rather than a scholarship first. They have to take care of that child.
Be aware of your kids and get on top of their social media. And that seems to be a huge factor. Sip?
She hit it on the head. Like I said, it trickling down. It won't be the first time, and it won't be the last, unfortunately. But, when you deal with a place like this here at TNT, a family-owned business, like I said, when I left the police department, it was to help these kids out before I arrest them. That was the whole point of opening this thing up. We had a passion, help people. Now we can help these kids become, once again, better young men and women. It's simple. I mean, you could Google. You have these trainers out there say, I played in the NFL. Google them. Simple.
Right.
Something that small, Google them. If they've been from gym to gym to gym to gym to gym to gym all over the place, find out why. There's something going on. We've been here 9 years strong. Strong 9 years. We grow every year. Like I said before, we have $1 million company because we provide $1 million service.
And being honest throughout the process.
Right, the whole time honest.
Right.
I'm not going to guarantee you a scholarship. I'm not going to guarantee you going to D1, but we will guarantee you being the best version of you every time, no matter what you do. And not only in sports, but in life. That's why people love us. That's why people continue calling. That's why people continue coming back. That's why people want to work for us. That's why we have people wanting to open up TNTs. it's simple
Family first.
Always.
all the time.
Where are you guys located at, Sip? I just want to give everyone a heads up of where you're at and where they can find you.
We're at 402 West Arrow Highway, Unit 14 in San Dimas, California, zip code 91773.
We are TNT, top-notch training facility.
Like what Coach Sip and Kiana said, folks, you have to be aware of what your kids are doing. You have to communicate. If not, they're going to do it somewhere else. And situations like this can happen. Coaches, there's a lot of coaches out there that are preying on our youth, and they're right around us. So thank you guys for being here today. I really appreciate your time. Sip, Kiana, you guys were very instrumental in helping our parents learn more about what they can do.
Thank you for having us.